Shalom. It's Izzy, your Hebrew teacher here, and this is Hebrew Chapters with Holy Language Institute. We are going to take a whack at Deuteronomy chapter 32 today. I say take a whack in the sense of attempting to do the whole chapter. This is an unusual chapter. It is largely composed of one long song. It's quite an impressive piece of poetry. And because it's not written in story form as a narrative, it's written as poetry, it's going to have a wider selection of words, going to be a bit richer vocabularically speaking. So buckle your seatbelt for that. This is from Torah portion Ha'azinu, as you can see here, named after the first word in the song. And it's at the very close to the end of the Torah, 53rd Torah portion. As you can see up here, it's in the fifth book of the Torah, the book of Devarim, or Deuteronomy. And we will be reading through Deuteronomy chapter 32. Now, I had mentioned that this is a song, but I'm not going to be singing it for you. Hopefully that won't be too disappointing for you. We're just going to be reading through it together. So hopefully this will still be exciting and not too boring, even though we're not going to be singing the song. Let's pray together, and we'll get started with this. Thank you, Elohim, God, for your holy Torah. Thank you for how it ends with such a crescendo. Thank you for this song that depicts your relationship with the nation of Israel. Thank you that it is just as vibrant and true today as it was 3,500 years ago. I pray that you would give us joy in studying your word in its original language. Thank you for the privilege of having your word, of being able to read the same words that our master Yeshua read almost 2,000 years ago in the synagogue when he was growing up as a boy. Thank you for that. I pray that we could come closer to you as we study. This is a more complex section in terms of the selection of words, some of the verb forms, etc. I pray for some extra grace there for my students. I know sometimes that can be challenging, but I pray that it would be a fun challenge. I pray that we would feel encouragement, and I pray that this would that we could even have some fun with this. And I pray too that you would give us a greater sense of awe of who you are as we see who you are in contrast with who we are. Wow. Just when we see your relationship with us as human beings and with us as the nation of Israel, it's incredible. I pray that we could really sense that. Thank you. Amen. So yes, Deuteronomy chapter 32. If you haven't learned how to read Hebrew before, you'll still get some out of this, but I would encourage you to go through our 40 lessons called Hebrew Quest at holylanguage.com. That'll get you reading and going through some passages in at a slightly slower clip. We're going to be going through this a little faster. I'm not going to be explaining every little rule of grammar or every little nuance pertaining to verb forms and whatnot, because I'm going to assume that you're familiar with some of that already. So here we start with Moses, singing. Ha-azinu. Your ozen is your ear. So this verb to azan means to ear, to hear. I wonder if in English if that's connected, ear and hear. Well, it certainly is in Hebrew anyway. So ha-azinu means give ear. Ha-shemaim, the heavens. Va-adabera. Root there, devar means to speak or communicate. So va-adabera, and I shall speak. V'tishma, root there, shema, to hear, or more so to listen. So v'tishma, and listen, ha'aretz, the land or the earth. Imre, verbal root there is amal, to to say something. So imre are like the sayings or words of fi, my peh, my mouth. Ya arof, root there is araf, and it means to drip, drop. Ka matal, matal is rain. There's another Hebrew word for rain, geshem, but this one here we have matal. So ka matal means like the rain. So will drip like the rain, likhi. And this is a fascinating word. It means instruction, teaching, doctrine, that kind of idea. But it's from the verbal root lakach, which literally means to take. What is the connection between instruction and this verb to take? The idea is instruction is something to be actively appropriated. It's something that you'll need to reach out and take hold of for yourself. It's not just going to be dumped in your lap. It's not just going to be something that you receive. You have a part to play. So that's the idea there. You're probably more familiar with another Hebrew word for instruction or teaching, which is Torah. Already you're probably noticing in this passage that the words being used aren't the typical ones, because this is poetry. So you'll see a wider range of synonyms employed. Like this one, lekach. So likhi, my teaching. My teaching will drop like the rain. Tizal, root there means to flow. New American Standard translates it distill. Ka tal, tal is dew. So will flow like the dew. Imrati. There we have that verbal root amal, again, to say something. So imrati is like something that I have said. My utterance, you could translate that as. Isn't this fun? Like just free translating. You're just reading through a passage of the Torah. In our case, a chapter, because this is Hebrew chapters. We're just reading through a chapter of the Torah, and just taking each word, breaking it down to its verbal root, and then saying, okay, so how would you translate that? What is the nuance that you can see in the usage of this word in this context? It's really fun, especially if you're a nerd like me, a homeschooled nerd, no less. I think sometimes homeschooled nerds have an even higher degree of nerdiness, like compound nerdiness, because you're around your siblings a lot who are also usually nerds. So you have that compound dynamic, right? So maybe that happens when we get together as Hebrew students also. Okay, sorry, that was a ramble. Ke sirim. This is fascinating here. The verbal root there, sa'al, can mean several things. Sa'al is hair. Like barley is sora from that same word, because it's like hairy wheat. It can also be a storm. That verbal root can mean to storm. So this could mean one of a couple things. Sirim here could mean hair like rivulets of water, like very small, fine rivulets, or it could mean like a storm rains. So there is some question about that in various translations, both Christian and Jewish ones. So anyway, I'll let you figure out how you want to render that. Ki sirim ale, that means on as a preposition. Desha. Desha is a verb that pops up in the creation story, actually, when green stuff grows out of the earth. Vegetation, herbage, or herbage if you're a little more refined culturally. Anyway, that's the idea there. So like rivulets, or perhaps storm rain on the vegetation. V'chir revivim, and this is another fascinating word, actually. Of course, v and chir, like revivim. What is a raviv? What are revivim? We're going to encounter the Hebrew term for 10,000 later in this song. The Hebrew word for 10,000 is revava. Here we have revivim. Could they be connected? I think it's highly probable. It could be a reference to innumerable droplets, like 10,000 droplets. So maybe we could read this as v'chirevivim, like droplets, innumerable droplets, ale, on Esav. And this is another word that pops up in the creation story. It's simply grass. So can you see the poetic parallelism here? He uses synonyms. So here we have sirim, hair-like rivulets, and then we have revivim, innumerable droplets. Here we have desha, which is more general vegetation or herbage, and then we have here Esav, which is more specifically grass. So that finishes actually that little couplet. Then he goes on. Key. Thanks for watching this trailer. To get this whole talk in audio or video format, go to holylanguage.com and subscribe. I'll see you there.